Hi folks, this is going to be a fun video to see the response to, predominantly because a lot of you are going to get really mad at me for saying the following statement. If you follow, or if you support the Fandom Menace in any way, you're an idiot. There's no other way around it. There's no other simpler term to put it. If I could find a way to say it monosyllabically, outside of just you're dumb, I would. Because that's the only way the pea-brained morons who follow this group are going to understand what I'm going to say. I have to dumb it down for you. I have to really make you not think, because that's at this point precisely what you do, what you believe. And I'm just going to be honest here. You're gullible morons who get led astray constantly by grifters who will openly admit to your face that they use you, that they prey on your emotions, that they prey on your anger, they prey on your fear, because they know that if they do that and it's effective, which has been a proven method as to being effective, they will profit. They don't profit off of the SJWs they claim to mock. They profit off of you because you watch the videos, you buy the merch, you support on Patreon, you send the super chats, you financially fund this nonsense. You are the mark. I'm just pointing out an objective truth here. For those of us who like to actually talk about the news media involving entertainment and being truthful and being on the up and up, you guys are quite literally the cancer we have to deal with all the time. And it's really time for some hardcore chemotherapy to hit that entire group, for an absolute wake-up call to happen. But this video, I will fully admit, won't reach many of you because you're not going to want to actually listen to what I have to say. You're not going to want to stop for a second and have a cognitive thought or use critical thinking to fundamentally better your existence. You're going to sit there and you're going to retreat to your echo chamber because I've pressed a button, and psychologically, you are not capable enough to be able to actually deal with what I am saying. And you're going to go to your leaders because this video is going to get called out by people like Jesse Milestone and maybe John Tox and maybe Drunk 3PO, right? All the capos in the Fandom Menace, the people without any real thoughts or anything they want to put out there. And I'm not criticizing. I actually like Drunk 3PO quite a bit. He's a very nice individual. But Jesse Milestone's a moron, and John Tox doesn't have much of a personality, which is why he just talks. Okay, but these people, they're the defenders of the Fandom Menace. They're the capos. They're the lieutenants. They're the ones that are there as the shields. They're the ones that are there as the protectors. If you criticize their betters, they stand up and they beat their chest and they go, "No, you!" And they bring up sub counts and they bring up view counts as if that means anything. It's a really lame approach. It's a real lame move done by people who don't have two actual brain cells to rub together. And again, if you actually watch what they say, if you actually pay attention to what they say, it's just vapid, dumb opinions that don't have any actual basis in reality. Same with Mecha Random 42. She's as dumb as they come. 100%. They're hypocritical constantly. They prove this constantly, but you guys are too pre-brained enough to get it. And the problem with it is that other elements of media back up this nonsense as a way to push the narrative. And it's just like Joseph Goebbels once said, if you want somebody to believe something, repeat it until they do. I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically what he says. So let me bring up this article here today from Cosmic Book News, you know, a paragon of honesty, integrity, and journalism, where they have a headline here, this amazing headline: George Lucas saving Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy leaving for J.J. Abrams, and oh my God, you might say, sacre bleu, you might proclaim to the heavens. That's amazing. That's wonderful. That's awesome. Are we finally living in the best timeline? Is Kennedy gone? Is Kathleen Kennedy out? Are we finally going to get good Star Wars again? And again, this comment section will have people saying that as well. Twitter will have people saying that as well, because for some reason you like to believe nonsense. I don't get it. Do you really think after all this time Kennedy is out, Lucas is back? Do you not know anything about the industry? Do you not know anything about what these people have done or what they are doing outside of Lucasfilm? I mean, the video that Doomcock put out, oh, it's a rumor. Who I got to make sure I say that because that's going to be a solid defense that gets brought up, right? That's the defense. Well, he's just reporting on what he's been told, in which he has been right so many times. Oh, okay. And again, I'm just going to preface this because I already know what the response is going to be because you guys seriously just keep using the same comments and arguments every single time. What has he been right on is what I would say back to you. And you would say, well, the Star Wars leaks that came out back in August about the rise of Skywalker, that's very true. Those came from Reddit from someone named Jedi Paxis. Doomcock simply reported on them, as did so many other channels. Would you like to try again? Well, there was the test screenings proven false by J.J. Abrams himself. Right? I mean, we can keep this up all day. When I put out a video a couple weeks ago, Doomcock has now become Mike Zero. This headline fundamentally backs that up, especially when you go through it and you read what they say. And we get to this piece right here. There's the 4 conditions for Lucas to return to Star Wars. He gets to make his sequel trilogy. He has full creative power until he decides to hand it off. Kathleen Kennedy is gone. Disney agrees to never mess with the original trilogy, leaving it untouched. And that Lucas apparently closed out the communication with Disney, noting that none of this is negotiable, in which case Disney responded, so when do you start? Well, here's my question for that. Who at Disney made that comment? Because it would only be one person who would make that comment. Maybe 2. It would be the Bobs. It wouldn't be Disney as a company. It wouldn't be Disney as an entity. Disney as an intellectual property. It would be the chairman and CEO, which right now is still basically Bob Iger who would be calling the shots. Bob Chipman, at least for right now, until he does get fundamentally thrown under the bus and forced out by the shareholders after this whole COVID situation, is the second in command. So when he says, Disney says, when can you start? It would only be 1, maybe 2 people. So why not just have that be the person who says it? Why sit there and code it behind hidden meanings? Why say Disney as a company, as a colloquialism? It's not. It would be one of 2 people, not Alan Horn. Not Alan Horn. It would be either Bob Iger or Bob Chipman. And in this particular situation, it would be, in fact, Bob Iger. And if you look at Bob Iger's memoirs about buying Lucasfilm and how he treated Lucas, what makes you think Lucas would come back? Lucas sold it off 8 years ago because he was done with it. He sold it to Disney by his own admission because they are the ones who would keep it alive. Knowing how much money it would be worth to Disney and the fact that he was paid part of that $4.08 billion in stocks, it's within his best interest to stick around and make sure he plays ball. He gets more money that way. And if you even know what George Lucas is up to right now, you know that he's not doing anything really in entertainment, but he's working on designing a new interactive museum in Los Angeles. That is the project he's been working on now for quite some time. He is not coming back to Star Wars. He is not coming back to The Mandalorian outside of maybe a set visit. He's not going to go to sets on these movies or these shows outside of maybe just a visit. He's not coming back. And no matter how much you are lied to by someone who has every financial reason to continue shoveling this shit down your gullet, it's not going to happen. This is what I don't understand when it comes to the Fandom Menace. Anyone literally who has a fundamental understanding of how the industry works would know that most of this crap, most of what is said by Doomcock and Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and all of those guys is a load of shit. It's designed to play into your core base emotions. More importantly, your core base fears. What do they always do? The SJWs are coming. The SJWs are coming. The SJWs are coming. Oh my God, the SJWs are everywhere. They're everywhere. And I alone can save you. It's a grift. It's one that I know far too well because back during Gamergate, that's what Gamergate became. It wasn't about trying to fight anymore for ethics in games journalism. It was about trying to own the libs, especially the crayon head SJWs. That's all this is. That is everything this is. If you are a part of the Fandom Menace, you are either being played, you are being lied to, you are gullible, you are dumb, you are idiotic, you are being used. And no one has ever really stood up and said it in these blatantly frank terms. Be mad at me all you want. I don't care. When I get sent articles like Cosmic Book News, again, another leak from Doomcock, another rumor from Doomcock, I know that morons like you are going to believe what he is saying. And just because you want something to be true doesn't mean it's going to be true. His track record is terrible because he doesn't have he doesn't have sources. People are lying to him. And you might come back and say, but he has proclaimed that maybe he's gotten bad information before. Okay, fine. Everyone gets sent some bad information every once in a while, right? But he still runs with it, which goes to show you that there's no ethic, there's no integrity, there's no responsibility in what he says and what he promotes and what he puts out there. He creates these fantasies for you to believe. He creates these visions for you to buy into. He creates this idea for you to be distracted by. Because do you really think Kathleen Kennedy is going to leave Lucasfilm to head over to take up Bad Robot, which just signed a 5-year deal with Warner Brothers and HBO Max and everything else? I mean, did you not know that the Kennedy Marshall Company exists and they're producing the upcoming Jurassic World Dominion? They've produced a number of other movies over the years while she's been in charge of Lucasfilm. The Kennedy Marshall Company's been around for decades. That Amblin Entertainment was co-created by Kennedy and Frank Marshall and Spielberg. Do you not think that she has got other irons in the fire that she has spent decades building up, that she's going to step aside and take that over, take over J.J. Abrams' company? Do you really believe that that's going to happen? Do you really think that that's the world we're going to live in? I mean, I really want to know what drugs you are on, because my God, to have that kind of just vivid, wild imagination would be fantastic. But I'm sorry, I live in reality. And I understand that's a hard thing for some of you to swallow. I get it. You've been in this Fandom Menace bubble for so long that you're high and you're drunk on your own farts. And when somebody comes along and they ring the same bell. SJWs are bad. Brie Larson is the devil. Kathleen Kennedy is going to silence you by suffocating your children in the night. You believe it. Hook, line, and sinker. And the biggest problem with this is that there's people out there that are going to come in and defend it. No, they're not like that. They're not like that at all. They don't provide disinformation. They just give their opinions. There's a difference between having an opinion and treating an opinion as fact. There's a difference when you actually have information to back up an opinion that would make it more of an objective fact versus something you simply pulled out of your ass. Or you heard somebody else say who has a bigger following than you, and you want to make sure that you're in line with the exact same thing they're saying so you don't disrupt the echo chamber. This is what I'm talking about. At this point in time, 3 years into the Fandom Menace, or 2.5 years into the Fandom Menace, you've been lied to, you have been played, you have been used. And what did you get for it? Anger? Distrust in the media companies you claim to love? I mean, at this point, the Fandom Menace hates Star Wars. They claim to love Star Wars. They'll wear the t-shirts, they have the posters, they talk about it all the time. Oh, I love Star Wars. But it's always that but. It's never talking about the good that comes out of Star Wars. Even The Mandalorian was one of those reluctant likes because everyone else liked it and you couldn't find a foothold to attack it. That's where it's at. But goddamn, Brie Larson holds a lightsaber in an Instagram post from when she was at Galaxy's Edge. 800 new videos appear, all saying the exact same thing. If you support the Fandom Menace, if you're part of the Fandom Menace, you are sheep. You are gullible. You are easily led to slaughter. And that is the truth. And again, you're not going to want to hear this. You're going to get mad at me. This video is going to get disliked and downvoted and all sorts of things. And I welcome it. I 100% welcome it. Because at this point, somebody actually has to stand up and say something. Because if you work in the realm of media entertainment coverage, I don't care what your opinion is. But I care that it's based and rooted in fact. I care that it's based and rooted in information that's available. For some reason, that's slipped away recently. That's really moved away. And it's become everything that they claim to hate. Because if you apply the same logic to Doomcock and Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and Jesse Milestone and John Talks and Mr. H Reviews and all the other ones, Ask yourself, when's the last time they really sat down and talked about something that they loved? When's the last time they didn't push a negative agenda for clicks? When's the last time they actively seemed to care about something? Because the truth of the matter is, they don't. Everything is SJW. Everything is terrible. Everything is out to get you, which is funny because that's the same thing they say SJWs are doing. They've 100% become what they hate. And now they're in a much simpler world where all they have to do is just make up something and you buy it hook, line, and sinker. Like a moron. Like a gullible idiot. Like you. This is something that has to be said. This is something that fundamentally has to be put out there. And I want you to sit on it. I want you to think with it. I want this to follow you to bed at night. And while you're trying to sleep, thinking about how terrible Kathleen Kennedy is and hoping that she's not hiding under your bed with a burlap sack ready to snatch you away and take you off to Lucasfilm, where she is going to blast Star Wars, feminist Star Wars in your eyes like Clockwork Orange. That maybe you've been played. That maybe you've been lied to. That maybe people are using your emotions against you. Maybe, just maybe, some of you will wake up to the concept of why this is something that has now just moved into a grift. It's simply designed to make money. And if you really look at it, if you really pay attention to it, you realize that there's no integrity anymore. There's none. In fact, it was probably never there in the first place. But the idea was there because anger about The Last Jedi was there. And from there, it jumped over to something else and something else and something else, as it will always tend to do. That is the plight of something like the Fandom Menace. It's meant to destroy. It's never meant to build. You know what else does that? A virus, a fire, a destructive force. Nothing good. No phoenix here. Nothing will rise from the ashes. It isn't like a controlled burn in the redwood forest that actually invigorates the soil with it, bringing new life and new growth and new ideas and new storytelling. That's not what happens. It's a destructive force that for some reason thinks it's the good guy. It's not. It never really was, and it never will be. So enjoy living in your, well, world, fantasy, not reality, make-believe, because that's where you are. And the more you don't stand up and realize that you're being played, the longer you will be in the Matrix taking the blue pill. I look forward to your thoughts. I look forward to your opinions. They're going to be a lot of fun. Have yourself a great day, everybody, and peace out.